Hey everybody, it's me again, and wow, was that movie bad. I mean, you guys have probably already seen my video with AJ, where we graded Animal Farm, and you're probably wondering what this video is going to be, other than saying how terrible this movie was, and that even apart from the George Orwell novella, and even apart from the historical aspects, it was a terrible movie on its own merit. The pacing was rushed, the motivations were rushed, the writing treated audiences like they were stupid or had no attention span. As if that wasn't bad enough, before the movie came out, Angel Studio put out a cute but very condescending skit about Animal Farm and Angel Studio coming together and directly insulted the fans who were concerned about it. Angel Studio, I gave you the benefit of the doubt. I especially kept swearing to my friends that you've done better writing than that. And I still love The Chosen, but you're supposed to be better than that, especially as Christians. I'd expect this attitude from Netflix or Cynthia Erivo, but not you. For my part, I didn't immediately root against this movie. I wanted it to happen. I love Animal Farm, and I wanted a new adaptation, and believed Andy Serkis would take the book seriously after Mowgli Legend of the Jungle. I didn't think he would dumb it down to excess. When the trailer came out in December, I knew that goose was cooked and the project was doomed. Then AJ and I went and saw it, and we found it to be a very painful viewing. Shockingly, though, I do think there is a way to fix it. And no, not just burning it, though I'm pretty sure Orwell would definitely say that's the only way to fix it. But I really think that there are some things that could work. Some people will definitely say that George Orwell's work was never meant for the big screen, and I can see where they're coming from on that. I really get it. This is the third time Animal Farm has been adapted, and none of the adaptations were perfect. This one less so, but the other two were not perfect. The previous two had better pacing, but they never were entirely faithful or knew how to perfectly end the book that had a very bleak and grim ending about how the pigs became everything they fought against. But at least they tried, and even the 1984 movie released in 1984 wasn't perfect, but at least it tried to keep to the tone of what the book was conveying. I believe Animal Farm needs to do that. However, I do like a few things that this movie did. Like, I do like the idea that this version tried to focus on the perspective of the pigs. The CIA cartoon had a third-person narrator. The 1999 movie focused on the dog's perspective, so I think the pig's perspective could the pig's perspective could work if we got so much fixed. So, what would need to be fixed? Everything. Well, okay, let's say 95% of everything. The animation could use improvements. The script needs a big-time rewrite. The story should not be dumbed down. We don't need a narrator, by the way. Let the actions speak for themselves. And some of the characters need to be recast. For instance, and big time, Napoleon is played by Seth Rogen in the movie. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Though I'm not sure how he could play a villain. I mean, maybe he has. I've not seen a movie where he played a villain. That's an omission. But I do think he is a good actor, and he could be funny at times. This was just not the movie he should have been in, or funny in, or even be the big villain in. However, the way he played the character was more like Squealer than he was Napoleon, so I'd probably cast him as Squealer. He could play him up as chill, laid back, and giggling manipulator. But my other choice, and I'm probably going to stick with this one, would be Martin Short for Squealer. He can pull off a skitty and excitable, manipulative character. I mean, he's done that before. For Napoleon himself, you absolutely need an intimidating, commanding voice. And shout out to AJ for giving the suggestion of J.K. Simmons. He's proven again and again that he can play an intense, hammy, angry, subtle, and powerful character. So J.K. Simmons is my pick for Napoleon as well. I'll keep Boxer and Benjamin and Lucky the way they are. Though I'm going to have Lucky grow up over time. With Snowball, I'm debating about the character being gender swapped, but we'll just keep it for now. However, you cannot have her be perfect in this one. In the book, Snowball was still part of the hoarding of the milk and apples from the other animals, so she's not going to be a Mary Sue or perfect in this one. She can't be. And again, Trotsky was not perfect. He was not a good guy either. So we got to keep those aspects alive. The humans also have to exist. Mr. Jones needs more than 30 seconds of screen time just to show why the animals revolt against the humans and why they say 2 legs bad. Pilkington and Frederick need to be in it for engaging trade, and Frederick needs to be shown as a monstrous human since he's supposed to be the story's allegory for Hitler. Pilkington can be gender swapped, I guess, but her actions need to resemble that of Winston Churchill, allying with Russia and engaging in trade. Moses the Raven will also appear in this one. He may not have a prominent role in the story, but he's not a robot either. He's meant to be an allegory for the Orthodox Church. He deserves to be in it, and I think for this one, I will have Kirk Franklin voice him, and he'll be allowed at least one song in the movie and another in the end credits because he's a gospel singer and he deserves to have his chance in the spotlight. For Clover, she also needs to be in there too. I mean, she was very absent in the movie, but we need Clover to be in this one. And I would pick somebody who sounds pretty motherly. So either somebody like Julie Andrews or Octavia Spencer. Take your pick. Old Major has to exist in this version since the rebellion doesn't happen without him. The animals, including the other pigs, don't imagine the rebellion without him. Andy Serkis was originally supposed to play him, so we'll either keep him as Old Major plus the rooster. He can do multiple voices. But if he's not interested in playing Old Major, then I'd say either Sir Anthony Hopkins or Morgan Freeman would be flawless as Old Major. And the themes absolutely need to stay anti-communism and anti-totalitarianism, not anti-capitalism. That was the whole point of the book and the consequences of both communism and totalitarianism. Right? The movie also has to be rated PG-13 at the very least. If they're able to ramp it up to an R, great, but this needs to stay at least PG-13. George Orwell never intended for this book to ever be for children, so this movie is not going to be child-friendly. And yes, we have to say alcohol in this and not this stupid, naughty juice. I will not get over that. If you want to know what's bad in life, you have to identify it and not chicken out on it. Disney was smart enough to do that in the old days. For animation, at this current moment, maybe later on, long after this movie's made, I cannot find who animated this movie, but it was produced by Anna Venture, who also did Claws and Stitchhead, Cinesite, who made the Harry Potter series, and Adventures of Pinocchio, The Star, etc., and Imaginarium Studios, who made Mowgli Legend of the Jungle. I think they would have benefited from Angel Studios' help, who made David and King of Kings both in 2025, as their animation actually looks great occasionally. They would be able to polish up the flawed parts of the animation. Even Netflix, if they're willing to pitch in, could help the animation look pretty and nice. I mean, say what you want about some of their movies, but it cannot be denied that some of their movies, like Spellbound, were colorful, nice, and well animated. The goal of this movie is to be as close to the original source material as possible, while throwing in a few twists, and hopefully, at the very least, being respectful to George Orwell's material. He wrote this story for a reason, and it deserves to be respected. Once again, we're doing it from the pig's perspective and keeping true to the coming-of-age plot for Lucky. And the following images I'm going to put up on here are either real pigs or from all three movies. However, for Napoleon, I refuse to use the pictures of the Napoleon imposter from 2026 because #NotMyNapoleon. Let us begin. The screen is black as the animals are heard singing Beasts of England over the opening credits. Cut to clips of the manor farm from different angles. Just then, 3 gunshots can be heard, which wake up a young piglet named Lucky, who was in the barn shed. He hides next to his mother, who comforts him. A few seconds later, the rest of the animals go back to their sleeping quarters. A year-old pig joins the mother and Lucky. "Mother, are you okay?" She says, "I'm fine, Squealer. Jones has not shot us, but now I can't get Lucky back to sleep." He smiles and says, "Maybe once he hears about what old Major said, he'll fall asleep." From there he tells his mother about why old Major called the meeting, certain about his own death, and says they should revolt against the humans, who have used them to grow food rather than do it themselves, stolen the hens' eggs and cows' milk, and so on. Once they revolt against the humans and drive them off their land, the fruits of their own labors could be theirs. "That sounds amazing," she says. "What is freedom?" Lucky asks. "Freedom is where you get to do whatever you want, with no master in charge." The next morning, Lucky goes to visit old Major to ask him everything, but he's gone. Every animal walks around with their head down and in mourning. Lucky is also sad about it. Benjamin is the only one who says, "Get used to it, kid. You won't hear me complaining about it. Donkeys live for so long." Clover and Boxer comfort Lucky. Moses the Raven and a choir of ravens somberly but beautifully sing about the land of Sugar Candy Mountain, with lyrics like, "There in Sugar Candy Mountain you will rest, and here you stay in the hearts of those you blessed." Lucky sees that Snowball and Napoleon are visibly annoyed by the raven's presence, but they try to tolerate it. The dogs dig, while Snowball and Napoleon bury old Major at the foot of the orchard and walk away somberly. It's shown that Farmer Jones was asleep the whole time with a nasty hangover, so he had not heard the mourning of the animals. Later in the day, Squealer is called away, but Lucky sneakily follows him behind, wanting to be part of whatever his big brother's a part of. The pigs, Napoleon, Squealer, Snowball, and a host of other pigs, are in a meeting discussing everything. We cannot let old Major's words die with him. Agreed, but how do we carry it out? We drive off Jones, says one pig. But then we'll starve, says another pig. If the rebellion goes forward, what happens to the farm? As Lucky starts to back away, Napoleon sees him. Who goes there? Lucky quietly steps forward. Squealer goes up to him. What are you doing? You're supposed to be in bed. I wanted to join you, Lucky says softly. Let him join, says Snowball. Let the younger generation be part of this historic event. Not now, Napoleon insists. Hey, this matter is for grown-ups. You better go back to your mother. Why shouldn't he be part of it? The revolution must begin, and the young must be part of it. I'll take him back, Squealer says. Maybe another night he can join. Snowball relents, and Squealer takes Lucky home, scolding him. I just wanted to be part of what you were doing, he meekly says. Okay, I'm sorry I was gruff about it, Squealer says. Just next time, please don't sneak around like that. You're going to worry our mother. I don't like that huge boar. He's mean. Comrade Napoleon? Oh, he's just passionate about this mission. It's nothing personal. He drops Lucky off with his mother, who is thankfully still sleeping, and trots back to the barn. The next evening, Lucky, his mother, and all the animals go through the trough only to find it empty. Each animal starts grumbling about being hungry, while singing Beasts of England, start kicking down the storage shed. The door falls in, and everyone starts gorging themselves after barely having eaten all day. About 5 minutes later, a pair of footsteps come stumbling in. It's Mr. Jones, all haggard, can barely stand up straight, carrying a whip and smelling weird. His 4 other hired hands follow behind him. Normally the animals would be frightened, but for once they feel empowered to stand up to the humans. They don't back down, and Snowball yells, Charge! Everyone rushes on the shocked Jones, and his hired hands stomp, kick, bite them, and run them off the farm. As soon as Mr. Jones and his hired hands are driving in the car away from the farm, everyone lets out a loud cheer. We're free! Yes, we are free, his mother replies. Everyone celebrates with a bonfire, throwing every instrument of torture like whips, collars, bits, shearers, etc., and sing Beasts of England. Lucky starts joining in the chorus while helping Boxer throw away his bits, which impress Napoleon. He approaches him. Hey kid, Squealer told me about you, and I'm sorry for the first bad impression. You can join our meetings now, if it's okay with your mother. She smiles and says, I think he's old enough to do that now. Lucky excitedly dances around as everyone continues to sing the late old Major's song. As the weeks roll by, Snowball teaches the other animals how to farm on their own, read and write. Boxer struggles a lot with the words, and Lucky patiently tries to teach him the alphabet and even tries to get him to write his own name with his hoof. Sometimes he would stay over with Boxer and Clover, teaching them words or just talking to them about work and life. Snowball writes out the Animal Farm sign, hangs the hoof and horn flag, and writes the 7 commandments. As Snowball reads it out loud, her voice seems to dissolve with that of old Major himself, and both triumphantly state, all animals are equal. "All right, comrades, back to work," orders Napoleon. Lucky is sent to milk the cows, which is difficult, but Squealer shows him how to use his trotters to milk them. "Now what do we do with the milk?" he asks. "Napoleon wants it in the shed. He'll decide what to do with it." "Aren't we supposed to share them with our comrades?" Squealer corrects. "Yes, but he decides what to do with it." Lucky does so. As Napoleon and Snowball receive the milk, they smile and urge Lucky to have some. "What about our comrades?" Snowball interjects. "We'll distribute them later. This first batch is for us." One night, while hanging out with Boxer, he starts talking about how much he wants milk, and Benjamin comments about the apples. "Didn't Napoleon give them out?" Lucky asks. "I haven't seen him do it. Maybe he just forgot," Boxer says. Not long afterwards, all the animals keep asking about the milk and apples. Snowball is stumped, not sure how to answer, but admits that they have the milk and apples. Squealer then jumps in and says, "Yes, but actually it is for your benefits more than ours. I actually don't like milk at all, but the calcium and protein in it sends signals to the brain in order to keep it functioning, and the apples contain antioxidants and polyphenols, which renew our cells so that they can be active and alert all day so that should Jones ever come back, we will be ready for him. And surely you don't want Jones to come back." Everyone voiced their agreement. "It's for your safety that we eat the apples and drink the milk," he then concludes. Later, Lucky asks Squealer, "Didn't you say this would get distributed?" "Yes, distributed to us," he says. "I mean to everyone else." "I must have misunderstood Comrade Napoleon and Snowball. My mistake. And make sure you have enough milk and apples to strengthen your brain, little brother," says Squealer. Lucky agrees. Once in a while, he sneaks an apple to Boxer by hiding it in his mouth. When Clover gets hungry too, Lucky uses his trotter to divide the apple. One day, a flock of birds go to the pigs in a meeting and cry out, "They're coming back! They're coming back! They're coming back!" Snowball and Napoleon start strategizing everything. Lucky eagerly says he wants to fight, but Squealer and his mother tell him, "You are still too young. Stay here," and they hide him in the loft. Lucky stays hidden during the Battle of the Cowshed, but from beneath the hay, he peeks out to see the violence that is happening. Guns fire. Snowball gets shot at, but recovers and charges at the humans. Unfortunately, after the battle is over, Squealer comes over to him crying. Mother was shot, fighting to help. Clover nuzzles him, and Squealer empathizes with him. His hate for humanity has just become as strong as everyone else's. He notices a dead sheep, his dead mother, and a dead man who was one of the hired helping hands. He then agrees with Snowball. The only good human is a dead one. Everyone bursts into a happy but mournful tune of Beasts of England and ends with the sheep chanting, "4 legs good, 2 legs bad." That night, Lucky stays with Boxer and Clover, still mourning his mother's death. Boxer shows him the stars, saying, "Whenever I feel sad, I just always look up and know that everything is going to be all right. Your mother will always be watching out for you and for Squealer." Life still goes on as normal, but Lucky notices that Napoleon has seemed to disappear a lot of the times, and few animals seem to know why. When he asks Squealer about it, Squealer tells Lucky only that he's caring for orphan puppies. That's sweet of him. One day, Snowball shows her plans for building a windmill, and Napoleon argues fiercely against it, saying that they need to focus on harvesting food rather than an extra activity that has little to nothing to do with helping the farm. But this will greatly improve the farm, she says. Yes, it will be hard work, but ultimately it will work on the farm. It will make work on the farm easier, provide electricity to keep us warm at night. The idea of that intrigues everyone. Napoleon immediately knows that Snowball has the vote and lets out a high-pitched squeal. Immediately, huge dogs, Dobermans will say, rush out to Snowball and chase her around. Everyone tries to see what's happening outside the barn, and Lucky cannot get a good view. However, the only thing everybody can see is that she's clearly gone away, that she's disappeared into a hedge and away from the farm. When the dogs return, they escort Napoleon to the loft, and he dismisses everyone, saying, "No more Sunday meetings and debates. From here on out, a special committee of pigs will handle all the questions relating to working on the farm. But we will assemble to salute the flag, sing Beasts of England, and receive orders for the week." As everyone leaves, Lucky goes to the hedge, wondering if he could see Snowball, with Boxer following along. But he doesn't see anything other than the thick leaves. "Snowball!" he calls out. No response. He asks Moses if he saw Snowball. "Not after she disappeared." "So she's alive?" "Maybe. I cannot say." "But why would you look for a thief and a traitor?" Squealer interjects. "Her a thief?" "Yes, she stole Napoleon's plans for the windmill and was pretending to ally with us so that she could bring Jones back." "But she fought bravely at the Battle of the Cowshed," protested Boxer. "Yes, but bravery is not enough," Squealer replied. "Loyalty and obedience are more important. Besides, was she really fighting for Jones or playing double agent for Jones? Only time will tell." "If she stole Napoleon's plans for the windmill, then why did he object at every turn?" Lucky demanded. "It's to flush her out, for the traitor that she is. Tactics, little brother, tactics." Both of them look at Squealer for a moment, then Boxer decides. "If Napoleon says so, then he must be right." "Exactly, comrade," Squealer says. "Now let's enjoy the rest of the day. We've got lots of work tomorrow." Work begins on the windmill, and Boxer is the one carrying most of the load. Lucky occasionally tries to help, but one day Napoleon is seen with Squealer discussing about getting him away from the other animals. Squealer gets him to move into the house. "But we're not supposed to live in the house or sleep in the bed with sheets," Squealer says. "We pulled off all the sheets." "Isn't that against the commandments?" "No. Go look." So they go to the side of the barn, and indeed it says, "No animal shall sleep in a bed with sheets." Lucky looks at it confused, but does what Squealer encourages. As he pokes at the bed, or couch really, he feels how softer it is compared to the haystack he slept in. "Go on," Squealer encourages. Lucky gets up and suddenly feels both very comfortable but also somewhat guilty. "Good night, little brother," he says, stroking his head with his snout. The next day, Lucky wants to go outside to meet with Boxer, but Squealer stops him. "You still have some reading to do." While studying, Lucky makes friends with another pig named Button. They chat and play a bit. One day, they follow Squealer and Napoleon to the hen house as he tells the chickens, "We will trade with the outside world, and you are to have the honor to donate your eggs for the cause." The hens start protesting, and Button whispers, "But old Major said we wouldn't have to give the fruits of our labors to man or trade with the outside world." "In order to make old Major's wish come true for the rebellion, we have to trade in order to make Animal Farm and the full revolution work. We need the tools for the windmill to be built. Besides, they won't have to give away their eggs forever. Just a short time," says Squealer. Lucky believes Squealer, but Button senses it's pretty fishy. Both of them cringe when Mr. Wimber, a human, picks up the eggs and hands Napoleon money. However, they're very proud when they see someone on two legs show respect to a pig. Napoleon uses that money to buy supplies for the windmill as well as more food for the pigs. When he decides to also trade with Mr. Frederick, he tells Lucky horrifying tales he heard from pigeons about this Frederick. He flogged a horse to death and threw his dog into the furnace. Why are we trading with him? The hens have had enough and start throwing all their eggs at the pigs who come to collect them. Napoleon orders the hens to not be fed. Button feels sorry for them and secretly offers them kernels of corn. This does not go unnoticed, and Napoleon charges him, along with another pig and sheep, for being in league with Snowball. Napoleon sends them out with the dogs to be executed, and Napoleon accuses Boxer, much to Lucky's horror. "No, not him!" he cried. "If he's caught with Snowball, he's guilty." Napoleon raises his tone. When the dogs come to charge at him, Boxer rears up and stamps on two of the dogs, one with each hoof. The result has the rest of the dogs fall back in fear. The two dogs are not dead, but very badly injured, and Napoleon decides the dogs are to leave Boxer alone. As they finish with the meeting, they sing "Beasts of England," and the sheep chant, "4 legs good, 2 legs bad." Squealer then tells Lucky, "Be careful who you are friends with. Other animals could get the wrong idea about you." Lucky is immediately too scared to try and befriend anyone ever again. Reluctantly, the hens also have to surrender their eggs to the pigs. Lucky stops by a tree and sees the commandments with new writing. "No animal shall kill another animal without cause," and sees Clover close by. She looks out over the fields and slowly sings "Beasts of England" in a mournful tone. He joins her in the song, followed by Boxer, some sheep, a goat named Muriel, ducks, and chickens. When they finish the song, they mournfully hug in the way that animals can hug. Squealer then comes up from behind them and says, "Hello, comrades. I came to let you know that there's no need for that song anymore. Singing it is now forbidden." "Why?" Clover asks. "Because the revolution is now complete. The execution of Snowball's allies was the final act of the revolution. We are now a free farm." "4 legs good, 2 legs bad," cry the sheep. Sometime after the windmill is completed, pigeons fly in, alerting Napoleon that the humans are coming back. Frederick has double-crossed them. Napoleon immediately summons everyone, getting them all ready for battle. Lucky, now grown more, has finally been allowed to be part of it, making him feel very proud. Squealer takes a moment to help Lucky get ready. I can't fully protect you, but remember what we're fighting for, little brother. For Animal Farm, he cries out. The Battle of the Windmill commences, and it's fierce. The humans are better prepared than last time. Lucky sees animals get shot, bludgeoned with, and so on. Lucky bites at one of the humans. It's not clear who's who because, as far as he's concerned, they're all bad. He also manages to trip up a human who falls over backwards with his head landing on a rock. He dies instantly. Unfortunately, a bullet grazes his shoulder, injuring him. Boxer then kicks that human hard in the chest, killing him instantly. And in spite of a split hoof, he still manages to get Lucky away to safety. It's okay, I got you, he assures him. Did we win? Lucky weakly asks. It looks like it. They're running. Just as soon as they start to be happy, they suddenly hear an explosion. The windmill was blown up. Nobody can speak, and they just stare at their work that had taken 2 years and is now destroyed. The camera cuts to Napoleon as he grumbles. Snowball, she did this. Are we going to have to restart? Squealer asks. Of course! We can't let her win. Napoleon then starts gulping down a bottle in his trotter, and it is clear that he has broken the no alcohol commandment. Lucky is watching from the window as the windmill is being rebuilt, and a pig comes running, yelling, Boxer's down! Boxer is down! Lucky immediately goes running out to the field where Boxer is lying down, trapped between the cart shafts. Benjamin and Clover also run to help. The pigs running the farm don't even try to stop them, but pitch in to help Boxer out and get him back to the barn. Lucky stays with him to help Clover and Benjamin nurse Boxer back to health. You should be able to retire now, he assures Boxer. I wanted to see the windmill finish. Leave that to us, Clover assures him. You can't kill yourself over the windmill. That night, Squealer drops in to pick up Lucky, but he refuses to move. Not until you get help for Boxer, he asserts. Our leader, Comrade Napoleon, has already arranged it. The ambulance is coming tomorrow in the afternoon. Then I'll stay until he's picked up, Lucky says. All through the night, they chat, and he reads to Boxer on occasion. The next day, a van pulls up, and a gruff-looking man helps Boxer into the van while shoving Lucky out of the way. Don't worry, Boxer. We'll see each other again soon. Just get well, please, he says. Boxer smiles as he's loaded into the van. I'll be all right. I just hope you'll be all right. As the truck takes him away, Lucky walks back into the house and is startled to see Benjamin chase the wagon, but Benjamin's head is blocking the wagon, so he cannot see the words horse slaughterer under Albert Simmons. When Benjamin comes back, his ears are down, and he's stomping his hoofs in anger. They sent him to the knackers! The pigs killed him! Lucky is appalled and goes to Squealer about it. Did you send him to the knackers? You said you were going to send him to the hospital. He looks at him and chuckles. Who gave you that idea? Us? Sending our best worker to the knackers. Oh, wait, you're serious? He's going to the hospital. Benjamin's always been such a downer, you know that. Does the truck have the words Albert Simmons? Oh, the ambulance forgot to paint that off. That was from the previous owner, who originally was a horse slaughterer, but now is an ambulance. Makes sense, right? Absolutely. But you might want to explain that to everyone else. A few days later, Squealer does just that, allowing everybody but Benjamin to sigh with relief that Boxer died in relative comfort. That same day, a crate of bottles arrive. "How did you get that?" Lucky asked. "You asked too many questions, little brother. Just enjoy for tonight," says Squealer. Napoleon raises a toast to Boxer, "To his efforts, and for giving his life to Animal Farm." Lucky looks at the stars from his window, remembers the good times he had with Boxer, as tears come to his eyes. "Farewell, Boxer." He then drinks from his cup. Sometime after the windmill is completed, Lucky and the rest of the pigs meet with Squealer and Napoleon. Everybody but Squealer are appalled that Napoleon is on his hind legs like a human. At this point, Lucky has learned not to question anything if he wants to live. Squealer then assures him, "They'll love you standing on your hind legs. You will look amazing on your hind legs." Each of the pigs give it a try and struggle with it. But once Lucky is able to master it, Squealer takes him over to a mirror and says, "Look at that! You can walk on your hind legs. Isn't that amazing? Now let's go show off to the other animals." And the following evening, the pigs, led by Squealer, with Lucky trailing him, and the rest of the pigs, followed by the dogs and Napoleon, all parade around the farm. Every pig is on his or her hind legs. And in the background, Lucky can hear the sheep chant, "4 legs good, 2 legs better. 4 legs good, 2 legs better." Lucky whispers excitedly to his brother, "They love us." And Squealer says, "I know, right? We are the best animals that ever existed." He doesn't even notice the fear on the other animals' faces. Later that night, Pilkington and a few other farmers meet with the pigs over drinks, dinner, cards, and a pool party. Because we might as well add that scene into the mix. Pilkington congratulates Napoleon for being the most prosperous farm and for making animals work harder for less food. "To Animal Farm," she says, raising her glass. "Actually, to Manor Farm," corrected Napoleon. "We believed it would be right to pay respect to the original name." Okay, from right here, I am going to do 2 different endings because, well, these 2 were running through my mind. We got a book-accurate one and a bittersweet one. So I'm going to do both endings, and I will let you decide which ending you liked the best. With that said, let's go with the first ending. In that moment, the camera shows that Benjamin, who is now all skin and bones, is looking on at the party. Lucky notices him and decides that being a pig in power is actually fun. As Benjamin looks on at the grown-up porker, he sees Lucky's face has changed to look like that of a man. Just then, Lucky sees Benjamin outside and says to him, "What are you looking at? Get back to the barn!" Officially cementing his place as the pig master. As Benjamin walks away from the party, he walks past the repainted sign that only says now, "All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others." The movie pans out from there over the rest of the farm, which looks prosperous, but every animal existing there who's not a pig is malnourished. And the movie fades to black. And now here's the second ending. Eventually, during the party, Napoleon grasps at his heart and falls over dead. After his funeral, Lucky sees that the other animals are awful looking and malnourished, something he never realized. Some of them look like living corpses. Once he sees Squealer give a kick to a chicken on the side, he is surprised to see Squealer act that way. "We don't need the puny animals to rein in on our parade," he says. Lucky is not sure how to respond and is heavily confused. When did his brother start acting that way? Did he himself ever start acting that way himself? As the months roll on, he walks to and from the other animals, trying to not be seen by the pigs or his former friends. He starts to see that the other pigs are carrying whips in their trotters, and the animals are calling them master. He goes back to the wall with the 7 commandments. Everything there is gone except for all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. Horrified at what he had become, he runs over to the nearest stream and refuses to go back in the house. He looks at his reflection, and the ripples make it hard for him to tell if he's a pig or a man. He struggles to rip off his clothes, grasps at his ears and snout, trying to remember what he is. "Am I a pig or a man? Am I an animal or a man?" He bursts out crying. A few minutes later, he feels a gentle nose nuzzle against him. It's Clover. She's nearsighted and skinny, but she sensed him. Lucky hugs her nose tightly and crying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." Clover wraps her hoof around him and holds him close. It's okay. It's okay. I'm here. I'm here. Lucky recognizes that if he stays, he could potentially be hunted down, so, at Clover's prompting, he runs away. "Come with me," he cries. No, Clover says. "My sight is failing, so I cannot travel long distances anymore." "You still have a chance to change your life." Lucky quietly walks on all fours, away from Animal Farm, renamed Manor Farm, and wanders around for a week until he finds a farm with nicer humans. It ends with Grandpa Lucky telling his grand piglets about it and urging them not to make the same mistakes he did. I did not realize I was being gaslit, and my fellow comrades suffered for my mistakes. All animals are equal. The camera fades out, showing the farmer feeding him and his pigs, as the movie fades to black. And that was Animal Farm. So which ending did you prefer, and how did you like it? Obviously, I don't think it's perfect in any way, but I truly hope it was respectful to the source material. While most of us would like a happy ending for Animal Farm, this book was not meant to have a happy ending. So, and why? Because even after the death, aside from the fact that it was showing the consequences of totalitarianism and and communism, it has to be acknowledged that even after Stalin's death, there was no happy ending for his victims. It was 38 years from Stalin's death to when the Soviet Union officially collapsed, and even the recovery from gaslighting, brainwashing, death, and torture was hard. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope Angel Studios, Andy Serkis, and everyone involved not only go on to do better, but learn the value of an author's voice and why it goes beyond the generation that they lived in. There's a reason Animal Farm was timeless, why anyone can relate to the animals, their desire for things to get better, the pigs becoming corrupted with having so much power and not learning from their predecessors. If you've not read the book, I encourage you to do so, or check out an audiobook of it. It's something I think everyone should read who is at least above the age of 12. I thank you for checking out this video, and here's hoping for the day that Hollywood can actually take seriously faithful adaptation good, soulless corporate product bad. Faithful adaptation good, soulless corporate product bad.